still many gender biases and discrimination in the workplace. And a lot of times it's not as explicit as one would imagine. So, for example, I was changing jobs whilst being pregnant. And in that time, when I was called for final interview, and then also during the contract negotiation stage, I literally was shaking because, I was thinking, do I disclose my pregnancy? What would this mean for me? Would I still be the best candidate for this job? And then also it brings back the question, I'm pregnant. Nothing about me is inhibiting me from doing the job besides being pregnant. And then I asked a few people, and obviously I got different responses from people. You get moral responses, ethical responses, and then I was looking at the legalities of it all. And according to South African law, I do not need to disclose my pregnancy at any stage. Just a month before you decide to go on maternity leave, you need to disclose to your employer. And at that stage, I decided to take the risk, and I say it's a risk because the consequences, even though it's not legal, it can still happen within the workplace. I took the risk of not disclosing my pregnancy because I feared that it might change my circumstance. And I went on to work at this company, but there was definitely some feelings of it wasn't well received, if I can put it in that way. And then also during COVID, once again, obviously by this stage I'd given birth, I had a baby. The fact that I had a baby came into play once again, and my colleagues suddenly became very obsessed with my time and how I was managing, because we are obviously in hard lockdown, how I was managing a child and work and all of these things. And it wasn't in a supportive way. It was more in as a tool of criticizing me. So I think these things happen, and it's not always overtly, it's not always directly. As a young woman of color in the workplace, we tend to face more barriers in terms of firstly getting into the job market, and then once we are there, fighting tooth and nail to stay there, and also to grow within the workplace. For example, you will come into an organization and there'll be older women and they would want you to this has happened to me on numerous occasions, both in the private, public, and government sector, where people wanted to be addressed as auntie. And that also then devalues you and the work that you do in the workplace. Because, yes, I have respect for you as a colleague, but you are not my auntie, you know? And that regenerating of these biases within the workplace, it also inhibits you then from learning and growing. I learned small techniques in the workplace. For example, how to protect my own energy, how to protect my own sanity, and also what my worth is within the workplace, and knowing that I'm very replaceable in the situation. A decent workplace has become an oxymoron in today's world, and it protect us. And I think that you hear this all the time. South Africa has wonderful laws, they have a wonderful constitution, but for who? It's really not to our advantage most of the time. What a decent workspace would look like. It's definitely a safe environment. And I mean that beyond just physical elements of safety, also having the proper policies in place to enact this safe environment. So when you're looking at things like working late, tips from where your office is located, and also in terms of sexual harassment policy and who and how to enact those policies, because you can't be the person writing and acting and enforcing policies. There needs to be separation of power. And also I find in my sector a lot, you have the finance person is also the HR person, is also this, that, and the other. So it becomes a very stressful endeavor to even interact with policy within the workplace. And also when we are looking at salary, a decent workplace should be where you are remunerated adequately, where you are being paid for the work that you put in, where you are being paid for overtime, and also a work that is, for example, with COVID, a work that is understanding that is flexible, that allows you to work from home if needs be, and if possible, of course, and also opportunities for growth. So looking at things like training, personal development, capacity development, I think those are tenets of a good, decent work environment. I think that platforms like this also enables you to kind of link up with people who have had similar experiences. And the power of storytelling is also so important, because then you can also hear, this girl went through this and that, and this is what she's done. And also using social media to connect on many of these platforms. And we also have lots of Black women coming out and telling their stories in different ways about the workplace, navigating predominantly white spaces in South Africa or on the continent. The Dare to See Us campaign and campaigns like it across Africa, across the global south is extremely important. And as I said, we need, it's also the thing of representation matters. I see somebody on screen who looks like me, who talks like me, who has a story like me. And as I said before, our work experience, our educational, economic, and all of those experiences and interactions with the labor market and the economy is so different from our Indian and white counterparts in South Africa, in the global south, because of the color of our skin, because of this collective history that we have together of oppression. So representation is so important, storytelling is so important, and just at the end of the day, also the feeling of I'm not alone, I am seen, I am valued, even though this capitalist market, this patriarchal system is so much bigger than me. I have comrades, I have my sisters, I have a home within the society. There is a place for me, and especially for me, it's like been my saving grace time and time again, the sisterhood in feminism, the sisterhood in my online communities. When I'm feeling like I'm not going to get this grant, how can I complete this degree? Or I'm juggling motherhood, being a student, being a partner, being a mother, being a sister, all of these things, and I just feel burnt out. And I see so many other women just holding space for me and encouraging me to just rest, or giving me tips or dinner ideas. It comes from the simplest places, and just in that moment to be seen, to be like, yeah, I think in that way, this community really does mean a lot. And I also think a lot of times the value of this community and these interchanges and exchanges, which leads to immense personal growth, and it also helps you then to cope and balance and grow within the workplace, is devalued, because the capitalist system says you need to produce, you need to produce, you need to, all of your output should be measurable, all of those things. And to find a community that says no, it's not true, that in and of itself is so valuable. So I think there's when young people are saying, you know what, self-care is a priority, mental health is a priority, and chanting those types of mantras, and actually also passing it down to the younger generation, is where we are breaking these intergenerational curses of being burnt out, of choosing between having a family and having a career. So these are very important things, and it shouldn't be seen as, oh, we're putting on a face mask on a Sunday. It's much more than that.